Imagine holding in your hand a coin that could change your life forever. A coin so rare, so secretive, that collectors have spent decades chasing it, unaware that it could be sitting right under their noses in a jar of spare change. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking and elusive treasures in American numismatics, the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. And make no mistake, this isn't just a coin. It's a ticket to a fortune, potentially worth hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. You might be thinking, a penny? How could something so small possibly be worth that much? But let me warn you, this is no ordinary penny. What sets the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln cent apart is a mysterious set of hidden errors, subtle yet devastatingly rare, that have sent the numismatic world into a frenzy. Imagine a tiny imperfection, invisible to the casual eye, that can turn a 1-cent coin into an $844,000 jackpot in top condition. That's the kind of secret we're talking about, a coin that could make the difference between ordinary life and extraordinary wealth. Here's the twist. The 1972 Lincoln cent is often overlooked, dismissed as just another penny from the early 70s, yet, in the right hands, it becomes a rare artifact with mind-blowing value. Experts have identified certain variations, from die cracks to repunched mint marks that never officially exist today, that have made a select few of those pennies worth a small fortune. And here's the thing, there's no easy way to spot them without a trained eye or a magnifying glass, which means countless treasures are hiding in plain sight. But let's step back for a moment. Why is this penny so valuable? After all, millions of Lincoln cents were minted every year. The secret lies in scarcity. A tiny fraction of coins were struck without a mint mark, and among them, only a handful display the rare errors collectors crave. Think about it. A single missing mark, a slight misalignment, a microscopic die crack, that's all it takes to elevate a humble penny into a millionaire's prize. And because these coins are so rare, demand has exploded, driving record-breaking sales in the numismatic marketplace. Consider this, in recent years, top-condition examples of the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln cent have reportedly sold for as much as $844,000. That's right, nearly $1 million for a coin that costs 1 cent in your pocket. Imagine rummaging through your old coin jars, your forgotten drawers, and suddenly discovering a penny that could buy you a house, a car, or fund a dream you've been chasing for decades. The sheer potential is staggering. And here's the kicker, there's no telling how many of these coins are still out there, unclaimed, waiting to be discovered by someone brave enough to look closely. Now, let's talk about the errors that make this penny legendary. Collectors speak in hushed tones about the die cracks, the doubling, the repunched mint marks that make certain 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln cents almost untouchable. These anomalies are the hallmarks of rarity, the fingerprints of a coin that defies the ordinary. And each one is unique. Some coins show a faint line running across Lincoln's shoulder, almost invisible unless inspected under a microscope. Others display subtle doubling on the date, a detail that can make all the difference between a few $100s and six figures. And yes, there are those near-mythical coins that combine multiple errors, at the holy grail of Lincoln cents, commanding jaw-dropping sums at auction. But here's a question that might send chills down your spine. Could one of these coins already be in your possession? Could the next great discovery be sitting quietly in your change jar, waiting for you to recognize its true value? It's a thrilling thought, isn't it? And it's not just hypothetical. Countless stories have emerged of ordinary people finding these coins by chance, instantly catapulted from everyday life into a world of unimaginable wealth. Some collectors swear that a lucky penny discovered at a flea market or in a roll of change has completely changed their financial trajectory. And yet, despite its fame among collectors, the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln cent remains elusive, almost secretive. It's a paradox. The coin is common enough that it could be anywhere, but rare enough that finding the right one feels like chasing lightning in a bottle. That's what makes it so thrilling. That's what makes it dangerous to ignore, because every coin you overlook could be the coin that changes everything. Now, let's consider the stakes. In the competitive world of rare coins, timing, knowledge, and a keen eye are everything. One misstep, one overlooked error, and a fortune could slip through your fingers. But for those who take the time to learn, to inspect, to truly understand the nuances of the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln cent, the rewards can be staggering. Auctions have repeatedly proven that collectors will pay almost any price for these anomalies, and the rarer, the higher. And in some cases, coins that were casually dismissed decades ago are now fetching seven-figure sums. That's not exaggeration, that's history in action. So, what should you do? First, don't panic. You don't need to buy a warehouse full of coins. Start by looking closely at the pennies you already have. Examine the date, the mint mark, the subtle lines and cracks. Compare them to reference guides. Look for doubling, repunching, or anything unusual. And remember, even small details matter. In the world of rare coins, a microscopic imperfection can be more valuable than the finest jewelry. Imagine the moment when you realize a penny you thought was ordinary is actually extraordinary. Imagine the rush, the disbelief, the almost cinematic thrill of discovering a coin that could change your life overnight. This is not just a hobby. This is a doorway to opportunity, to legacy, to a story you could one day tell your grandchildren about. The 1972 no mint mark Lincoln cent is not just a coin, it's proof that wealth can appear in the most unexpected places, waiting for those who dare to seek it. And here's the final revelation. The market for these coins is only growing. Collectors are becoming more sophisticated, auctions more competitive, and the allure of rare coins more irresistible. Prices are climbing, records are being shattered, and the next headline could feature someone who, like you, had the courage to look a little closer, to ask the right questions, to believe that a small coin could hold a monumental fortune. So take a deep breath, and imagine this: you're holding a single penny, examining it carefully, and for the first time, you notice it's different. It's perfect, it's rare, it's exactly what collectors dream about. And in that moment, you realize that the ordinary has become extraordinary, that history is in your hands, and that the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln cent could very well be your ticket to a life you've only imagined. Time is ticking, and the next great discovery won't wait. Could the coin that changes everything be in your pocket, your drawer, or your jar of coins? There's only one way to find out. This version is 1,300 words, fits a suspenseful, authority-driven storytelling style, and is optimized for a 10-minute faceless YouTube narration. If you want, I can create an even more cinematic voice-over-ready version that adds more cliffhangers, rhetorical punches, and suspense beats to really hypnotize viewers through the full 10 minutes. Do you want me to do that? Next, most people walk past a penny without a second thought. It rattles in a cup holder. It disappears into a couch cushion. It gets handed back at the gas station like it's nothing. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, a plain-looking, no mint mark Lincoln cent from 1971, has sparked stories of life-changing money, whispered dares, and headline-grabbing sales that reach into the hundreds of thousands of dollars a broken bar and beyond? Not a gold coin, not an ancient relic, a brown penny from 1971. And here's the part that stops people cold. This isn't about a coin locked away in a museum or buried in a billionaire's vault. These coins were made by the hundreds of millions. They were spent, lost, ignored. Some of them are still out there right now, in old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers, hiding secrets most people never bother to look for. What if one of them is yours? This is the story of the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin so ordinary on the surface that it became an invisibly broken bar, and so dangerous underneath that collectors still hunt it with flashlights and magnifiers, chasing errors that can turn pocket change into a financial earthquake. The year was 1971. America was changing. The Vietnam War raged on. Inflation was creeping into everyday life. And inside the Philadelphia Mint, machines thundered day and night, striking Lincoln cents by the millions. Unlike Denver or San Francisco, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark back then, so these pennies came out clean and no letter beneath the date. Just 1971. To the untrained eye, that missing mint mark means nothing. To a trained collector, it's the beginning of a mystery. Because when production runs reach massive levels, mistakes don't just happen, they multiply, dies crack. impressions shift, metal flows where it shouldn't, and sometimes something slips through that was never supposed to exist. Here's where the story takes its first turn. Collectors began noticing that certain 1971 no-mint mark cents look at a broken bar wrong, letters that seemed thicker than normal, doubling where there should be none, Lincoln's profile showing subtle distortions that didn't match standard strikes. At first, these coins were dismissed. People told themselves it was wear, or damage, or imagination. But then magnification told a different story. Through doubled dies, mechanical anomalies, die deterioration so extreme it reshaped the design itself. And once collectors realized what they were seeing, the hunt was on. Because in the coin world, a single word changes everything. Error. Errors aren't flaws. They're fingerprints of chaos, a proof that something unique happened for a fraction of a second inside a government mint. And uniqueness is where value explodes. Ask yourself this: how many people would ever think to check a 1971 penny under a loop? Almost no one. That's why the next revelation hit like a thunderclap. High-grade examples of rare Lincoln cent errors, including those from the late 60s and early 70s, began posting eye-watering auction results, 6 figures, then more. Reported market sales across elite error cents surged, with some headlines setting prices as high as $844,000 for top condition examples tied to legendary Lincoln cent varieties. Let that number sink in. $844,000 for 1 cent. Now here's the twist most people never hear. When these stories hit the news, readers assumed the coin must be impossibly rare, something only 1 or 2 people on Earth could ever own. But the truth is more unsettling. Some of the most valuable error coins weren't discovered right away. They were found years later, decades later, pulled from circulation by someone who simply looked closer than everyone else. And that's where the 1971 no-mint mark cent refuses to fade into history. Because while not every 1971 penny is valuable, certain error combinations, especially dramatic doubled dies, misaligned strikes, and severe die anomalies, can catapult an otherwise common coin into a completely different financial universe. And the market doesn't just reward rarity, it rewards condition. This is where suspense tightens. Imagine 2 identical coins struck from the same flawed die. One gets spent into oblivion, the other sits untouched in a roll, in a drawer, in a forgotten box. Fast forward 50 years. One is worth face value, the other, preserved in near-perfect condition, becomes the one collectors fight over. This is how values stretch from dollars a broken bar to thousands a broken bar to 6-figures a broken bar, and in extreme cases, into the realm of 7 figures when hype, rarity, and pristine condition collide. And yes, some experts openly speculate that undiscovered, ultra-high-grade error cents could one day break the $1 million barrier if the right coin appears at the right time. Speculate. That's the word that makes hearts race. Because speculation isn't fantasy, it's possibility. Think about it. How many 1971 pennies were pulled aside and never spent again? How many were tucked away by parents or grandparents who thought, maybe this will be worth something someday? And how many of those coins have never been checked for errors? Here's another jolt of reality. Many people believe rarity is obvious, that valuable coins must look strange or damaged. But the most dangerous coins are the ones that look normal at first glance. The doubling that only reveals itself under magnification, the tiny separation in letters, the thickness in liberty, the date that doesn't quite line up the way it should. Miss it, and you miss the fortune. This is why seasoned collectors say the same thing over and over: the money is in the details. And the details on the 1971 no-mint mark cent can be shocking. Die cracks that look like lightning scars across Lincoln's face, ghosted images where design elements echo themselves, strike anomalies that create depth and texture no normal coin should have. Each one tells a story of pressure, metal, and mechanical failure, a story the market is willing to pay obscene amounts to own. And the market appetite is real. Auction houses thrive on these moments. 2 bidders, 1 coin, both convinced this is their once-in-a-lifetime chance. Prices climb, logic disappears, records fall, and when the hammer drops, Someone walks away knowing a penny just rewrote their financial future. Now pause for a moment. What would you do if you found out a coin you already own could pay off your mortgage, fund your retirement, change your family's trajectory forever? Most people never ask that question because they assume it could never happen to them. That assumption is exactly why it sometimes does. The final act of this story isn't about history, it's about choice. You can keep ignoring pennies, let them pile up, let them vanish into change trays and donation jars, or you can slow down, look closer, learn what most people never bother to learn, because the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln cent isn't screaming for attention, it's whispering, and whispers are easy to miss. Somewhere out there, a coin struck more than 50 years ago is waiting for the right pair of eyes. It doesn't know it could be worth thousands, or hundreds of thousands, or that it might one day be mentioned in the same breath as the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. It just sits, silent, ordinary, until someone picks it up a broken bar and realizes everything they thought they knew about a penny was wrong. So the next time you see a 1971 cent without a mint mark, don't dismiss it, don't assume, don't rush past it, because history has a way of hiding fortunes in the smallest places, and sometimes, the difference between pocket change and a life-changing discovery is a single second of attention. One coin, one look, one moment that could change everything.